Morning. Happy Tuesday. So, something that I have seen come up more and more recently is scams. Mainly, they've been letters, but I wanted to share some of the things I look for and tell my clients to look for to determine if these could be legitimate or not. Um, I've seen some that look fake and are legitimate, and vice versa. So, one of the big tips I am going to share: never ever call the number on the email, on the letter, or the number you're given over the phone. And never agree or give out any information on the phone until you can research into it. If they're legitimate, they're going to understand you want to look into it, call them back. If it's agency or somebody that know is going to be calling, or you've had communication with before and you know that person, you're probably safe. But nowadays, I have seen where a legitimate vendor's email was hacked. The scammer was emailing from their email, deleting the replies in the email sent, and contacting their customers and telling them to change where they were mailing their payments to. So even though it looked legitimate, it was from a legitimate email, it still was a scam. So you get a tax lien letter that looks a little suspicious, don't call the number on that letter. Call the records department for that location. Go on Google, find the phone number, but talk to them directly. They're going to be able to say, yes, this is legitimate. No, it's not. If it's not, obviously, don't respond to those people. Shred it, get rid of it. If you get an email that sounds a little suspicious just in their grammar, it might be from somebody you are supposed to know, but if the grammar sounds off, doesn't sound like the way they normally talk or write, call them, especially if they're telling you to change the address where to send payments. Just give a call. Or if you get a email or invoice from a vendor that you don't think you should have, call them. It's very possible that their email has been hacked, or it's just close enough that it kind of looks right, but it might not be right. Um, but a good policy is anytime there is something unexpected, an address change, especially on remittances, just call to verify. They are going to understand because they're going to tell you, we didn't send that. We didn't send that letter. We didn't send that email. And then you know that you did your due diligence. Another scam that I recently heard of that I guess has been around for a number of years, you've got your new business. You're up and running. You've filed with Secretary of State for your LLC. You've got your EIN, and then you get a letter in the mail to certify your company. Those apparently are all scams. They charge $70 to $200 to give you an official piece of paper saying you now own a business. And the people they target are the people that just started their business and have no clue that it's not legitimate. It's like the labor law posters that most places you can get those for free from your workforce centers, labor departments. Call around, find where you can get them. You don't need to pay a company hundreds of dollars a year to provide you the posters that your local agencies are providing at no charge. So those are a couple of the big ones. I mean, everybody knows the printer toner and light bulb ones where they call and ask what your printer is so they can send you more toner. If you haven't heard of that one, if it's the legitimate vendor that provides your toner with your contract, they know what printer you want. They know what printer you're renting. They know what's covered in that service agreement. They are not going to call to find out what printer you have to send you the toner. There's they're not scamming you because you will get toner. It's probably not going to be great toner. In some cases, I've heard of it ruining the printers, but they do provide it at like 3 times the retail price that you would normally pay if you just went to Staples. But now you have it, they send you an invoice, and most companies are just going to go ahead and pay it, throw it in the back supply room, and write it off as stupid. If you get something like that, return to sender. Do not accept it. Same thing with light bulbs that just show up. They do the same thing. They charge you 3, 4 times what they actually would cost if you went to a legitimate store. And it's usually that somebody in the warehouse receives them, puts them back in the back, then the accountant gets a horrific invoice. Well, we've got them. I guess we got to pay for them. Just don't order from them again. So they're one of those that are, I guess you would call them one time, because everybody's going to fall for it one time before they figure it out. So share any tips you have of ways that you verify things that don't look legitimate to make sure that you're not ignoring something important that you think is a scam or that you fall for a scam. I'd love to hear what other tips that people have, because this is a big thing. It's a big industry. They make a lot of money off of the unsuspecting. So we need to share our resources to protect each other. Everyone have a great Tuesday. I will chat with you again next week. We're going to talk about sales and use tax. What are they and what's the difference? Because it can be confusing. So I'll see you next week for that. Have a great week.